Hello guys, I'm gonna try to talk as loud as I can. It's not that late, but I'm gonna try and bear in mind the neighbours next door because it is night time. So, right, for those of you that didn't see the weekend video, I'll link it up above because there was an issue with my previous Joy video where I mentioned about samples. I explain it better in that video, so I'll link you to that video. It is something I am still currently looking into. But we are, like I said, I am going to do this other video because it's something that I've wanted to do since last week, but I was too mad to do it last week. Now, one of the points, which is the main point of this video, there is a lot of contradicting news and things around this, though I am actually inclined to believe that Joy is not an innocent party in this. Now, I'm going to try my best not to use the names because the mother in question has asked us not to. I've never used the videos about this particular situation, the identified situation, which has had a semi-good update on that one, which is that the Mike Martin and Heather Martin have received a 10-year suspended sentence and 5-year probation. If they break the probation, then they go to prison for 10 years for child neglect, because they pleaded an Alfred plea where they're not conceding guilt, but they're saying that the state has enough evidence to convict them if they were to go ahead. So on that front, that's the exceptionally good news. And during those 5 years, they can't have any contact with the two children that are no longer in their care, which are the ones that are now in the mother's care, which are the ones that I'm going to try my best not to name in this video. I have named them in previous videos. If I can, I will go back and delete names. Whether or not I'm able to do that, I don't know. And I will change one of the thumbnails for my last Joy video, because one of the thumbnails does involve their name, so I will try and do that when I upload this footage onto the computer in a short while. Now, in this whole situation, the mother has said, can you please remove videos of my children or about this incident? Can you please take them down or redact certain types of information? Which is understandable, and she wants the children to have at least some form of normality, particularly when they go to school. And a lot of people have done that, a lot of people haven't. I noticed when Phil was doing the update today, he was using the footage, but legally, a company such as Phil's, which is a news-based company, doesn't have to comply with the mother's wishes unless there's a court order to do so. There hasn't been a court order. Now, the mother in question has said that Joy has helped with some regards with the case, but excuse me, that worries me, because the evidence that she needed, that she could have gone to 5 or 6 other people for, including Phil, who had actually sent a lot of the evidence to the police and Child Protective Services. So Joy, again, inserting herself into situations she doesn't belong into, just like she inserts herself into an easy one's life without a care. Now, she's basically said that she didn't want to pull the videos because the mother's lawyer was asking her to leave them up. Now, in this is again, This is against the rules of good, it's like the rules of conduct for lawyers, and if a client wants something to happen, then the lawyer has to facilitate that to happen in the best of his ability. So for the mother to say, I want this to happen, and then the lawyer to say the complete opposite is a problem. And also there is speculation that the mother wanted the videos taken down, Joy didn't want to take them down, so she turned around to the lawyer and said, either the mother releases a statement that I've helped, etc., or I leave the videos up. Now, to me, that's, and I have videos of this, I'm not going to insert them in this video because this video is going to be a lot bit long, but if you go up into the iCards or down into the description, they are going to be there. I've been down a Joy rabbit hole today, I've got a headache. So, if anybody sees this and asks about it, it's a blood test. I always bruise, don't worry about it. Right, now the reason why this is an issue is the mother wants her children to have a normal life. These children are already posted all over the internet for everybody to see because of something that their father did. Now, for somebody like Joy, who says that she's helping in the case, to turn around and refuse to do something that the lawyer or the mother has asked is horrible. Now, in this case, I would have gone with the mother's wishes as opposed to the lawyer's wishes, because at the end of the day, the mother's got to think of what's best for the children in this case. So, but that was the reason why I wanted to talk about it last week, but I knew if I did, I would end up ranting because I was so mad and I was livid, and I'm still a little bit livid at the minute, but nowhere near as bad as I was last week. At the end of the day, they're trying to do this to protect the children. Obviously, when you're talking about news networks, which is what Phil technically is now, he doesn't have to abide by the same rules as everybody else. He abides by the same rules that press organisations like the Young Turks or Fox News or CNN or BBC News or Sky News or ITV News in this country operate under. And he has the right to still use footage within reason. He doesn't do videos, multiple videos every day on this topic. I think this is what, his 5th video on this topic, and obviously there was the initial video. All the other videos have been updates or responses into when the father tried to blame Phil. It wasn't Phil's fault. The entire internet saw the videos, cringed and acted. End of. Right. If you saw the title, you would see that there are 10 reasons. Well, there actually is a lot. That is number 1. He's not removing the Daddy of 5 videos despite the mother of the 2 children wanting them being removed. Like I said, I'm going to try and redact mine as much as I can, within reason, obviously, but my views don't get several thousand views. I think my initial video got about 20, if that, and that wasn't even monetized. So point number 1 is the Daddy of 5 issue, and it enrages me still, but not as bad as it did last week. Last week I was seething. Number 2, she's anti-vaccine. Now, if she has scientific basis, I would understand this. However, she has 0, because there are 0 out there. She's stating that vaccines have caused her illness and that the body stores infectious bacteria, viruses, etc. until something goes wrong within the body and it's out of whack, so that the infection gets hold. No, as soon as the infection enters the body, that is when you become sick. And she's saying, well, you know, that after I was immunised at 6 years old, I was I suffered from a lot of colds, etc, etc. So no, when you were immunised around about 6 years old, you're also in school, where there is a lot of other people in the same place, where colds are going to pass, bugs are going to pass. That's the nature of being in school. It's one of those things. My friend's little girl, when she started nursery, they noticed that she was getting more colds and she was getting the occasional bug because she's with other kids. That's what happens when you're with other children. You pick up their illnesses, so they'll have a strand of a cold you haven't had yet, so you get that cold. It's normal. But she says that the fact that her body is out of whack is at the fault of why she's so ill at the minute. First of all, fibro has nothing to do with viruses. Fibro can be the brain's way of dealing with certain things, but not viruses. And it's a central nervous issue. It is fibro. So and she's propagating misinformation about vaccines, that they cause other things like autism, etc., which there is no scientific basis for it. There have been study after study after study, and there is no correlation or causation between being immunised and having autism. If that was true, there would be a hell of a lot more people that are autistic. Sometimes it's just the brain chemistry is out of whack. Sometimes it's that the brain hasn't fully developed, which is one of the instances that happen, and that the brain doesn't fire properly and doesn't generate the right connections with the right bits inside itself, and that is one of the causes for autism. Now, there are a lot of other causes that haven't been found, whether it's due to something in pregnancies, whether it's due to genetics, we don't know. It's one of those things that anti-vacciners use parents' worry of, am I doing the right thing vaccinating my children, and going at them, at people who are vaccinating their children, when in actual fact, scientifically, it is better to vaccinate your children than to not vaccinate your children. Before we had vaccines, the child mortality rate was horrendous, and it's since we got the vaccines for things like TB, polio, measles, whooping cough, things like that, the child mortality rate isn't as high as it used to be. And obviously we also have antibiotics as well, so that factors in as well. But having the vaccines has helped prevent people from dying from TB, where thousands of people died. God, there's a hospital in America where people literally went with TB, they'd die and then they'd throw the body down a chute. But to me, pushing anti-vaccine rhetoric is dangerous, especially with people who are susceptible to believe everything that Joy says. They're also susceptible to believe everything that anybody says about anything, meaning that they are not as strong in their knowledge or conviction of certain things. If I had a child, that child would be immunised. I was immunised. My mother was immunised. The only thing I ever had as a child, other than German measles, was whooping cough. But that was before the immunisation for whooping cough happened. And I'm fine. The asthma has nothing to do with whooping cough, by the way, before anybody says anything. Right, so yeah. Anti-vaccine rhetoric really pees me off, and for somebody like Joy, who's just pushing her own, I'm ill because of this, I'm ill because of that, and using vaccines as a reason as to why she's ill, makes me see red. Number 3, hypocrisy. she's called out Daddy 5 and Onision for having minors in their videos, but she's doing the same. And there is a young YouTuber, I'm not going to name him, but some people will know what I'm about, who Joy is asking a lot of her fans to go and watch, to go and sub, you know, to help this youngster. That's all well and good. However, I have a problem with that. She's doing this on the heels of all the aggravation she's getting because of the obsession with Onision, the obsession with 35. And I think what she's trying to do is trying to make, see, look, I am doing good. But a lot of people are seeing through it. The other issue is the fact that in her videos, because at the moment she's so negative and so mad, she's swearing, and there is a 13-year-old watching that. That concerns me. If you hear that, it's the rain, I'm sorry. That concerns me, the fact that there is a 18-year-old watching that. There's a 13-year-old watching that. She's also very paranoid. I was going through the lolcow forums for her, and one of the prevailing opinions is paranoia. That she's saying that the government is poisoning the food, that the government is poisoning the vaccines, government is poisoning the medication, etc. and is keeping her sick. She doesn't say for what reason, but she's saying that that is what's happening. Now, I'm not saying that the government don't put things in water for... They put fluoride in to supposedly help your teeth, but in some places they put it in too high of a concentration. Then there are other issues, and it aggravates me that she's on a downward spiral, and not one person, not even her friend, has actually said go and get an evaluation. People on lolcow are saying she's certifiable, and a lot of the stuff she's saying is paranoia, which it is. There is also, like I said, there is also a school of thought that fibro is the body's reaction to a trauma. If that is the case, then she will need counselling, and if she has been abused, like she says she has, she needs counselling. But she doesn't do that. Granted, she doesn't have a lot of money, but as I've mentioned in my last video, and as Repsion has mentioned in a previous video, she has the ability to apply for Soonacare, which is the Affordable Care Act system in her area, which would then give her some form of health insurance, thus meaning that she will be able to receive care at a point where she's not out of pocket. She might have to copay, but there is a possibility that it will cost her a lot less than it is now. And she's saying, well, she doesn't fit the criteria because she's earning too much on YouTube, but she's saying that if she stops YouTube, she's not going to have the money for medical care, even though there's some... But in all fairness, if it is true that she doesn't actually live in Oklahoma, but she lives in Kansas City, then I don't know if there is an equal place in the area where she lives. I don't know. She's also quite good at using emotional manipulation. She'll tell people that she needs money for health issues, that she needs money for a new camera, or this or that or the other, and then they'll donate, and then she'll be like, oh, thank you for the boys, but you really don't need to. And it's like, what? 1 minute you're saying to him that you don't have enough money for this or that, or that you don't have enough money for a blood test, or you don't have enough money for an ER visit, or you don't have enough money for this, or you don't have enough money for that. And then when people give you money, And then there was this is also part of the emotional manipulation. She got annoyed about some of the horrible things on YouTube, and she says, I'm going, I'm leaving, I'm going. She'll be back within 3 days. What? If you were leaving, then leave. Don't take a break for 3 days and then come back. That's emotional reflection. I'm going, I'm leaving. But she's back within a couple of days. Then there's the she's saying that anybody who does a claim against a channel, whether it's the main channel or Sport Pinko Ball or F8, whichever, if anybody does a claim, it's a false claim. Onision claimed on Sport Pinko Ball, I think it was, because she'd actually used his military record. Yes, he's told people about what's happened and how he was discharged and why he was discharged, but she actually showed information on his military record and on a military vet. Now, granted, I'm not the biggest fan of Onision, but there is information on military records that the normal layperson isn't supposed to know. Yes, military records are reasonably easy to get, but that doesn't mean that you should be going and doing it. Greg's military record isn't perfect. He's admitted that in himself. He has issues in his past, and he's admitted he has issues in his past. But for saying that it's a false privacy complaint when you're actually putting information out about him on the internet isn't a false privacy complaint. There was a recent one that she's had with Nick Monroe, where he's flagged one of her videos because it showed text messages, and she's saying it's a false claim. If he hasn't shown those text messages and you don't have permission to share those text messages, then it's not a false claim. At the end of the day, privacy is there to protect people's information. We have the issue with Jake Paul where he openly puts his address out there for people to see, and he went to Post Malone's house and recorded the whole thing, so you could quite easily figure out his address using that video, which for a rapper is not the best thing. So just because somebody claims against a video doesn't mean it's a false claim. You've got to bear in mind that people are doing claims against their videos with good reason. Now, this is another one that really gets my goat. She says she's too sick to work, but she makes multiple videos a day and then streams for several hours a day. If I could do that, I'd have a job. I can't. Because of the way I sit when I record. Anyway, I say it hurts. There's not a chance I can record 5-6 videos, all 15-20 minutes a piece, and then sit and edit them, and then sit and live stream for hours on end. But she says she's too sick to work. But you can sit around doing videos and editing and live streaming all day. And you have people that say, well, you can't work because you've got this. Well, what about such and such body? Or in this case, what about Joy? She says she's ill, but look at what she does. And it makes people like me mad, because it makes people judge people like me with conditions like EDS or lupus or such that are so debilitating to a point where we can't work. Why it enrages us so much that they do these things. At the end of the day, if you're too ill to work, then why are you doing so many videos a day and streaming for so many hours a day? There's not a chance I can do that. Even if I try, half an hour is about my max. And before, I've had this comment before, no, it's not because I'm fat. It's because I literally have a partially dislocated hip. So anywhere I sit or anywhere I sit, it hurts. So there's the constant change in diagnosis. Now, I'm one person, I was misdiagnosed. They tried to say I had endometriosis when I didn't. I had EDS. Now, that is a common misdiagnosis with EDS. But when she says that it's copotoxicity, and then when people start challenging her on that, then she says it's viral, but then people start challenging her on that, and then she that it comes out that it might be this other thing or this other thing, and it's like, what? And I'm not even going to get into the medical side. I will put the links down to the lolcow down below. Because one of the things, it actually states that one of the conditions that she says she has, apparently it has to be diagnosed by a specialist in viruses, but it doesn't. And several medical people on the lolcow forum have actually said it doesn't need to be diagnosed by a virologist, a specialist in viruses and the like. It's got nothing to do with that. Number 9, giving out medical advice. This is one that, if you haven't noticed, really gets my goat, hence the videos last week. To give out medical advice when you have zero medical training is reckless. She says that nobody knows your body better than you do. That is true. You have to be your own advocate. That is true. However, when you have multiple doctors say it's this, then you sort of have to think, right, you research that condition. If the symptoms fit, then it is. I did have, but there are times where if you know it's not that, because of a family history of a certain condition or whatever, then you push for further investigations, then you push for further information on this. But there comes to a point where you have to succeed. If you're not medically trained, you have to succeed to those people that are medically trained. And number 10, claims that haters aren't affecting her, but yet she is getting more and more angry and more vitriolic as time goes by. One of the reasons why I can barely sit through 10 minutes of watching any of her video is because I am so mad. Because she is so mad. And she's so negative, and she's so, what? Yadi's talking about me, Yadi's talking about me, why is this person talking about me, why is this person calling me out, why is this person doing that? Because you are doing things that people want to call you out on. Then there is a bonus one. There was an incident, I didn't know about this until I looked at Nick Monroe's blog. And she's done a video on it, so it's out there publicly. But there was a car accident, and several people in her family died, and then not long after, somebody else died. The only problem is, she did multiple videos on this, of course, and she talked negatively about her family. I'm one of the first people that will talk negatively about my family, which for my channel is fine, because my channel isn't about attacking X, Y or Z. I do one call out video, I do one horror based video and one fun video. Sometimes the fun video might get a bit serious. It's about my real life. The other 2 videos aren't. Now, I've always talked about my real life on my channel. Always, from the beginning. Joy didn't. It wasn't up until she became sick that everything was in her real life was free for all. That and the fact that it was out there. And she had ads on these videos where she was talking about personal loss, which is her decision, and she was talking about how there was a toxic home life, etc., which I have a bad family history with my paternal side, my biological paternal side. However, I have done 2 videos and left it at that. She did multiple, and she was I think she was using this like a sympathy card, and how she was saying that that she was pushing the idea that these people died, woe is me, my family is hurt, etc. Why is this happening, blah blah blah, and then in the next breath say, well, they didn't really like me, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, they didn't support me, they didn't do this. If and when my biological father passes, it won't be on my channel. Probably because I won't find out straight away. And if I do put it on my channel, it'll be a flyaway comment, nothing more. Because that is how much significance I put in that side of my family. I put the other videos out there as a therapy for myself, and should he ever see them, fine, we'll deal with that. If he never sees them, again, fine, we'll deal with that. In this instance, Joy used her family history to gain more sympathy, because it was around this time where she was getting pushback, which she always seems to be getting pushback, but she always says she's not the one in the wrong, but she's the one getting pushback. And you understand how things don't compute. If she's getting pushback, but she's not in the wrong, but she's getting pushback off multiple people. When I was looking at videos about her that people have done today, I am not joking, it was list after list after list. There are hundreds of videos just like these. So, like I say, I'm still looking into the whole samples issue. If you do want to see the apology, I will link it up above about that. And with a bit of luck, we shall see going forward something a little bit more genuine from her, because at the minute I don't think we've seen the true her, or if we have, I don't much like it. Now, with relation to the Hot Daddy 5 thing, hopefully things can start calming down for the mother and the 2 children. This is going to be my last video even touching on that subject, because I don't want to talk about that subject anymore. But I had to mention it in this video because it was one of the reasons, it was the main reason why I was so pissed at her last week. So, and then these other reasons obviously factor in. We also have this week a good horror video, and we are actually talking about one of Britain's worst killer couples, which doesn't give you any hint because there's been several. But in my opinion, these and the other 2 main ones are probably the worst. The other 2 ones I will cover, but neither of them are no longer with us. In this instance, one of them is still with us, unfortunately. But luckily she'll never be free. So, anyway, rambling done. That'll be out. The other video will be out on Friday. Me and the husband will do something over the weekend for you, and that should obviously help matters going forward. With that being said, stay safe, have fun, be good, and I will see you on Friday.